Imagine, if you will, a woman standing at the edge of a vast ocean, her reflection rippling in the water. She feels separate from it, an outsider to its beauty and movement. But what she doesn't realize is that she is the ocean as much as the wave belongs to the sea. This feeling of being unloved, of standing apart, is an illusion, a trick of the mind and the culture she inhabits. The illusion of separation is perhaps one of the most pervasive deceptions of the human experience. It is the quiet, persistent whisper that says, "You are apart from the whole, distinct and incomplete." For women who feel unloved, this illusion manifests as a profound sense of isolation, a belief that they exist outside the circle of connection and belonging. Yet this perception is not a reflection of reality, but a veil, a distortion that conceals the truth. From the earliest moments of life, we are conditioned to see ourselves as individuals in a fragmented world. We are given names, roles, and identities that define us in opposition to others. This woman is a daughter, but not a mother. She is a friend, but not a lover. These labels carve out spaces that seem to set her apart, creating boundaries where none truly exist, and within these artificial walls, the seeds of feeling unloved take root. To feel unloved is to believe that love is something that exists outside of oneself, a commodity to be earned or bestowed by another. It is to view love as something one must chase, a treasure hidden somewhere beyond reach. But this belief is born from a fundamental misunderstanding of love and its source. Love is not an object, nor is it a transaction. It is not something one can possess or lack. Instead, love is the very essence of existence itself. It flows through all things, connecting them in ways that are often unseen but profoundly real. Imagine a wave in the ocean. If that wave could think, it might see itself as separate from the sea, a distinct entity moving alone across the surface. It might even fear its own end as it crashes upon the shore. But the wave is never apart from the ocean. It is the ocean expressing itself in a particular form. So, too, are we expressions of something infinite, deeply interconnected. The illusion of separation convinces us that we are merely waves, unaware of the vast ocean that is our true nature. For the woman who feels unloved, this illusion is particularly insidious. Society has long perpetuated myths that equate a woman's worth with the love and validation she receives from others. Stories and traditions reinforce the idea that she must earn her place in someone's heart, that her value is contingent upon being desired, appreciated, or chosen. These narratives serve to deepen the illusion, making her believe that she is an island in the sea of humanity, cut off and incomplete until someone bridges the gap. But the truth is that the connection she seeks has never been absent. It is not something she must acquire, but something she must awaken to. The sense of separation she feels is not a reality, but a veil created by her own mind, influenced by the culture and conditioning she has absorbed. Love is not external. It does not originate in another person or in a relationship. It is the very fabric of her being, as intrinsic to her as light is to the sun. In this context, feeling unloved is not a failure or a flaw, but a misunderstanding, a forgetting of one's own nature. To see through the illusion of separation is to realize that love has been present all along, not as an external force, but as a state of being. Like the wave that realizes it is the ocean, she must come to see that she is not separate from love, but one with it. The boundaries she perceives are not real. They are stories, shadows on the wall of her mind. This realization is not something to be forced or manufactured. It is a gentle unfolding, a peeling away of the layers of conditioning and false belief. It begins with a shift in perspective, a willingness to question the narratives that have shaped her understanding of herself and her place in the world. When this shift occurs, the illusion of separation dissolves, and she comes to know, not intellectually but experientially, that she is and always has been part of the infinite flow of love that connects all things. Self-worth beyond validation is a concept that challenges one of the deepest and most persistent myths of human existence, that our value must be affirmed by others for it to be real. For women, this myth often takes root early, woven into the fabric of societal expectations and cultural norms. It whispers, "You are only as worthy as the praise, attention, or love you receive." This belief sets a trap, turning self-worth into a currency that can be gained or lost depending on external circumstances. But true self-worth is not transactional. It is inherent, unchanging, and independent of external validation. From childhood, many women are conditioned to seek approval from the world around them. They are taught to be agreeable, to excel, to nurture, and to conform to a vision of success or desirability that others have created. This conditioning often prioritizes external feedback over internal understanding, creating a dependency on the judgments and opinions of others. A compliment becomes a measure of beauty, a promotion becomes a marker of competence, and a partner's affection becomes the validation of lovability. But in this cycle, self-worth becomes fragile, its foundation resting on factors outside of oneself. This dependence on external validation is not an innate human trait, but a learned behavior. At its core is the belief that worth is something to be earned, a prize awarded only when certain criteria are met. This belief is reinforced by a world that constantly measures and ranks, categorizing people based on their achievements, appearance, and relationships. For women, the weight of these expectations can be particularly heavy, as they are often judged not only for what they do, but for how they look, how they behave, and even how they make others feel. In this environment, it can feel as though self-worth is always just out of reach, contingent on meeting an ever-shifting standard. Yet the truth is that self-worth is not something that can be given or taken away by others. It is not a reflection of external circumstances, but a quality that arises from within. It is the recognition of one's own inherent value, independent of achievements or affirmations. To embrace self-worth beyond validation is to understand that one's value is not determined by the opinions or actions of others. It is to realize that worth is not something you have to prove, but something you simply are. This realization requires a profound shift in perspective. It means stepping away from the endless pursuit of approval and turning inward to discover the source of one's own value. It is not an easy journey, especially in a world that constantly demands proof of worthiness. But it is a necessary one, for it is only by letting go of the need for external validation that one can truly connect with their inner self. At the same time, these narratives often fail to address the complexities and challenges of real love. They rarely acknowledge the imperfections, the misunderstandings, or the hard work required to sustain a meaningful connection. Instead, they promote a vision of love that is effortless, flawless, and unending. This can lead to disillusionment when real-life relationships do not measure up to the ideal, causing people to question the validity of their own experiences. For women who feel unloved, these narratives can be particularly damaging, reinforcing the belief that love is out of reach because they have failed to embody the ideal. Cultural narratives of love also tend to focus narrowly on romantic and sexual relationships, marginalizing other forms of love that are equally profound and meaningful. They often overlook the deep bonds of friendship, the unconditional love of family, the selfless love of service, or the quiet love of self-acceptance. By prioritizing one type of love over others, these narratives can create a sense of lack or inadequacy in those who do not fit the mold, further perpetuating feelings of unworthiness. These narratives are frequently shaped by power dynamics, cultural norms, and historical contexts that reinforce inequality. In many cultures, women have been portrayed as passive recipients of love, waiting to be chosen or validated by a partner. This framing not only diminishes their agency, but also places the burden of worthiness on their ability to conform to the desires and expectations of others. Love becomes a performance, a role to be played, rather than an authentic expression of connection and care. What these narratives often fail to capture is the universality and accessibility of love. They obscure the truth that love is not something to be earned or bestowed, but something inherent to our existence. Love is as much about giving as receiving, as much about presence as passion, and as much about understanding as desire. It is found not only in romantic relationships, but in every act of kindness, every shared moment, and every connection that affirms our humanity. By perpetuating narrow and often unrealistic ideals, cultural narratives of love can trap individuals in cycles of self-doubt and longing. They create a world where love is conditional, hierarchical, and elusive, rather than abundant, inclusive, and ever-present. For those who feel unloved, breaking free from these narratives can be both liberating and healing, allowing them to redefine love on their own terms and discover its many forms and expressions beyond the limits of cultural expectations. The power of presence is an extraordinary force, yet it is often overlooked in the pursuit of future goals or the burdens of past regrets. To be truly present is to immerse oneself fully in the moment, to embrace the here and now without distraction or judgment. It is a state of being that connects us to the core of our existence and the reality around us, offering clarity, peace, and a sense of wholeness. For those who feel unloved, the power of presence holds the potential to transform their experience by anchoring them in the truth of their being, free from the illusions created by external validation or imagined inadequacies. In modern life, presence is rare. The mind is perpetually pulled in multiple directions, dwelling on what has been or anticipating what might be. This constant preoccupation fractures our experience, leaving little room for the richness of the present moment. Yet it is only in the present that life truly unfolds. The past is a memory, and the future is a projection neither exists except as thoughts in the mind. When one is lost in these temporal realms, they are cut off from the reality of now, where all that is meaningful resides. For someone who feels unloved, this disconnection can be particularly acute. The mind may replay past experiences of rejection, amplifying feelings of inadequacy. Alternatively, it might fixate on an imagined future where love remains elusive, creating a narrative of despair. In either case, the pain of feeling unloved is compounded by an inability to see the present for what it is, a space where love, in its many forms, is always available. Presence dissolves these mental constructs by grounding the individual in the immediacy of life, where such stories lose their power. To be present is to engage fully with what is rather than what was or what could be. It means feeling the weight of your own breath, the texture of your emotions, and the rhythm of your heartbeat. It means noticing the sunlight streaming through a window, the sound of a bird's song, or the kindness in a stranger's smile. These moments, simple and often overlooked, are imbued with love and connection. They remind us that love is not a distant goal, but a reality woven into the fabric of our existence, accessible to those who are willing to see it. Presence also invites a deeper connection with oneself. When you are present, you are no longer running from discomfort or chasing fleeting pleasures. Instead, you meet yourself exactly as you are, with all your complexities and contradictions. This act of self-acceptance is itself a profound expression of love. It is a recognition that you are enough, not because of what you have achieved or how others perceive you, but simply because you exist. In this state of presence, the need for external validation begins to fade, replaced by an inner knowing that your worth is intrinsic and unshakable. The power of presence extends beyond the self to the way we relate to others. When you are fully present with another person, you offer them a gift that is increasingly rare in a distracted world: your undivided attention. This level of engagement fosters genuine connection, allowing love and understanding to flow freely. It creates a space where both individuals can feel seen and valued, not for what they do, but for who they are. Presence transforms relationships by stripping away pretense and expectation, leaving only the authentic exchange of being. Presence also brings perspective. When you are grounded in the moment, the illusions of the mind, fear, insecurity, and inadequacy begin to dissolve. You see life for what it is, rather than through the lens of what you fear or desire. This clarity reveals that the love you seek is not something distant or unattainable, but something that is already present in the connections, experiences, and awareness of the now. The simple act of being here fully and completely is an act of love in itself. In its essence, presence is about reclaiming your life from the distractions of the mind and the distortions of cultural expectations. It is about stepping into the fullness of your existence and recognizing that everything you need is already here, in this moment. The power of presence is transformative because it allows you to experience life as it is, without the filters of judgment or expectation. It opens the door to a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world, revealing that love and connection are not things to be sought but truths to be lived. Purpose often reveals itself through passion. The things that excite you, inspire you, or ignite your curiosity are not random, they are clues. They point to what resonates with your soul and what makes you feel connected to something bigger than yourself. Purpose doesn't always have to be tied to a grand vision or career. It can be found in the simplest moments. It could be nurturing relationships, creating art, helping others, or contributing to your community. Purpose is less about what you do and more about why you do it. Finding purpose also means embracing your unique gifts and talents. Every person has strengths and abilities that are uniquely theirs, and these are often the tools that lead to purpose. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on what you bring to the table. What are the things that come naturally to you? What do people turn to you for? When you recognize and embrace these strengths, you step into your authenticity, and that authenticity becomes a foundation for your purpose. Purpose is closely tied to impact. It's about more than just personal fulfillment. It's about how you use your life to make a difference. This doesn't mean you have to change the world on a massive scale. It means recognizing the ways, big or small, that your actions can create positive change. Whether it's mentoring a friend, supporting a cause you believe in, or raising a family with love and care, purpose is often found in service to others. It's about leaving the world a little better than you found it. Finding purpose requires patience. It's not a destination you arrive at overnight. It's a lifelong process of exploration and growth. Your purpose may evolve over time as you gain new experiences, face challenges, and learn more about yourself. This evolution is not a sign of failure, it's a sign of progress. Purpose is not fixed, it is fluid, adapting as you do. The key is to remain open and curious, to keep searching, and to trust the process. One of the most liberating aspects of finding purpose is the way it transforms your perspective on life. When you live with purpose, setbacks and failures no longer feel like dead ends, they become stepping stones. Challenges take on new meaning because they are part of a larger picture. Purpose gives you resilience, motivation, and the ability to keep moving forward, even when the path is difficult. It becomes the anchor that keeps you grounded and the light that guides you. Finding purpose is not about seeking validation or approval from others. It's about living a life that feels true to you. It's about waking up each day with a sense of intention, knowing that your actions are aligned with what you value most. Purpose is not something you chase, it's something you create, moment by moment, through the choices you make and the way you show up in the world. It's not a destination, it's a way of being, and it has the power to transform your life from the inside out. Unity is a powerful force that can transform individuals, communities, and the world at large. It is the coming together of people with a shared understanding, a shared goal, or simply a shared respect for one another. Unity doesn't mean uniformity. It doesn't require everyone to think, act, or believe the same way. Instead, it celebrates diversity and harnesses the strength that comes from different perspectives, experiences, and backgrounds working together toward a common purpose. At its core, unity is about connection. It's about recognizing that, despite our differences, we are all linked by a shared humanity. In a world that often emphasizes division, whether by race, gender, class, or belief systems, unity reminds us that our similarities far outweigh our differences. When people come together, the collective power is far greater than what any one person could achieve alone. This is the essence of unity, strength in numbers, fueled by mutual respect and cooperation. Unity thrives on empathy. It requires stepping outside of your own perspective and genuinely considering the experiences and needs of others. Empathy doesn't mean you have to fully understand or agree with someone's viewpoint. It means you respect it enough to listen and learn. When people feel heard and valued, the barriers that divide them begin to break down. Unity is built on this foundation of mutual understanding and compassion. True unity also requires effort. It is not passive, it demands intentionality. It means choosing to set aside ego and personal agendas for the greater good. It means seeking common ground instead of focusing on what divides us. This is not always easy, especially in moments of conflict or disagreement. But unity doesn't mean avoiding challenges, it means facing them together. It's about resolving differences in a way that strengthens relationships rather than tearing them apart. Unity is particularly powerful in times of adversity. When challenges arise, it is our ability to come together that allows us to overcome them. Communities that stand united in the face of hardship are able to find solutions, support one another, and rebuild stronger than before. Unity creates resilience because it reminds people that they are not alone. It fosters a sense of belonging and solidarity that can carry individuals and groups through even the most difficult situations. Unity also empowers. When people join forces, they amplify their voices and their impact. Movements for justice, equality, and change are built on the principle of unity, individuals coming together to demand something greater than themselves. Unity gives people the courage to stand up for what they believe in because they know they are not standing alone. It creates momentum, turning small actions into meaningful progress. Unity inspires. Seeing people come together for a common cause is a powerful reminder of what is possible when we choose collaboration over competition. Unity challenges the idea that success is a zero-sum game. Instead, it shows that we are stronger when we lift each other up. It creates a ripple effect, encouraging others to join in and contribute to something bigger than themselves. Unity is also about healing. Division creates wounds, both personal and societal, but unity offers a path toward reconciliation. When people come together with open hearts and minds, they can bridge the gaps that divide them. Unity doesn't erase past wrongs, but it creates the conditions for growth, understanding, and progress. It allows people to move forward together, not as adversaries, but as allies. Unity is a choice. It is the decision to see others not as rivals or strangers, but as partners and allies. It is the decision to focus on what unites us rather than what separates us. It is the recognition that while we are all individuals, we are also part of something much larger. And when we embrace unity, we unlock a power that can transform not only our relationships, but the world around us.